Obviously, Lexi's been tremendous, especially on the defensive end. She just brings a spark and a tenacity about her that, maybe we weren't always getting on the defensive end, and she's just willing to do whatever it takes for this team.
It all began with whispers, quiet conversations between scouts and executives during a long July road trip. Lexi Hull's name started circulating around the league. She wasn't injured. She hadn't been benched for misconduct. She was simply available, or at least that's what other teams believed. Indiana was reportedly seeking more perimeter scoring. Hull, while strong defensively, had struggled with consistency from deep. So when a Western Conference team, believed by some insiders to be Phoenix or Dallas, made a call, the Fever listened. It was described as a straightforward depth-for-depth trade. Nothing major, just business. Then without warning, it all stopped. Phones went silent. No callbacks, no follow-ups, no press leaks. The whole deal was buried overnight. To most fans, it didn't seem like much. But to those inside the organization, it raised a critical question. Who killed the deal? That's when fingers began pointing toward Caitlin Clark's management team. Let's rewind to the beginning. By mid-season, the Fever were in survival mode, juggling injuries, experimenting with lineups, and trying to build around Clark's playmaking. Lexi Hull had been a reliable presence, but her stats weren't exactly eye-catching. Coach Stephanie White was reportedly testing younger guards, which cut into Hull's minutes. And in professional basketball, when minutes drop, rumors rise. An assistant from another team allegedly said, "Hull's the kind of player every contender wants. Solid, smart, and drama-free." But the Fever seemed ready to move on. Trade talks quietly began. One proposed scenario included draft compensation, while another involved a veteran wing. Everything seemed routine, until it wasn't. Something or someone changed the equation. Within a day, communication between Indiana and potential trade partners froze. Insiders later claimed the directive came from above the team level. Translation: Caitlin Clark's team didn't approve. To understand how this could happen, you have to grasp just how massive Caitlin Clark's operation really is. She's not just an athlete, she's a whole brand ecosystem. She's represented by XL Sports Management and backed by Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, Wilson, and High-Next
Game day routine, or do you feel like you're just in a groove right now?
Kept in a groove.
She started hanging out with me more.
It's rubbing off on me.
Some are good, some are bad.
Her brand partnerships collectively generate more value than the entire roster payroll of some WNBA teams. Caitlin Clark has PR teams monitoring social media narratives, consultants tracking engagement analytics, and sponsorship advisors coordinating her image down to the smallest detail, from press quotes to Instagram captions. So when someone in that circle heard that Lexi Hull might be leaving, they saw it as more than just a basketball trade. They saw a PR risk. Hull isn't just a teammate. She's one of the few players who aligns with Clark's public image: clean, humble, and relatable. They often appear together in community clips and team promotions, and there are even fan edits online calling them Indiana's Golden Duo.
Okay, first rating, I think, there's always room to improve, but I was impressed, so I'd give it a 9. But we were just hanging out, and she was like, I did this the other day, randomly, and then she turned on the game. I was like, okay, turned on the game, and she just started going at it, so it was fun.
For Clark's marketing network, that kind of organic chemistry is gold. You don't trade that away for a bench shooter. According to reports, her management voiced their concerns politely but firmly, and just like that, the trade stopped cold. It was loyalty in motion, but also power wielded quietly and efficiently. This is where the real tension began to brew. Steve Simon, the Fever owner, had signed off on exploring roster adjustments. He's a businessman first, and Clark's success meant everything to his bottom line. On the other hand, head coach Stephanie White was reportedly frustrated. She wanted the freedom to shape rotations without politics. To her, this was simply a small move to improve balance. Not a betrayal, but both quickly realized they were now navigating a new dynamic. As one league insider put it, when you have a player who boosts revenue by 50%, suddenly basketball logic takes a back seat.
Can I get this spring fling with vanilla cream instead of coconut cream? Can I have the beach fade too, please?
Simon wasn't about to risk anything that might make Clark uncomfortable. White wasn't thrilled, but her hands were tied. Behind closed doors, staff described a noticeable chill after the rumor broke. Trust between the coaching staff and upper management began to fade, and that's when the shift became clear. The Fever had officially moved from team first to brand first. Inside the locker room, reactions were mixed and emotional. For players close to Clark, it was seen as a powerful show of loyalty. She stood up for her friend, using her influence to protect someone she cared about. That meant something, but for others, it wasn't so easy to accept. One veteran allegedly told a local reporter off the record, "Look, I respect Caitlin. She's a star. But if certain people are untouchable, that changes everything about how a team operates."
Our defense improved a lot, so I think offensively and defensively we've taken a step forward, and that's kind of what the coaches challenged us in going into that break too.
Another quietly added, "I love Lexi, but we can't pretend there's no double standard now." Nobody said anything publicly. Nobody wanted to spark a headline war, but the tension was there. And the irony, Clark probably meant her actions as an act of friendship, but they were interpreted as a flex of power. Her intentions might have been pure, but perception, that's where the cracks started forming. Still, even her critics admitted that Caitlin had changed the WNBA's entire energy. Nobody, not even veterans, had seen a rookie command this kind of authority. Now let's talk about Lexi Hull, the quiet center of the storm. Through all the noise, she said nothing. No cryptic Instagram stories, no likes on shady posts, no comments hinting at tension. She just worked. Extra reps, early gym sessions, constant energy, and then something interesting happened. Her minutes started to climb again. Her defensive impact grew. Clark began highlighting her in interviews, calling her underrated and essential. Fans noticed.
What type of job did Stephanie do as coach with all the moving parts throughout the season?
I mean, incredible. Simply incredible. Be so easy to give up and say we're just gonna take this year. We're gonna.
The hashtag #KeepLexi started trending on Fever fan pages. Local broadcasters even ran features highlighting her chemistry with Clark. It was subtle PR magic, the kind of narrative shift that doesn't happen by accident. Whether it was genuine gratitude or strategic image control, the result was the same. Lexi Hull went from trade bait to indispensable teammate. By the next month, even analysts were noticing. The Fever played harder when Lexi was on the floor. Coincidence? Maybe, but fans knew something behind the scenes had clearly shifted. When word of the alleged trade interference reached league offices, it grabbed attention. The WNBA's growth relies on parity, the idea that every team competes on equal footing. But what happens when a player's influence exceeds the league's internal structure? A league executive reportedly said privately, "It's not a bad problem to have, but it's a new one. If Clark's team could block a move once, what stops them from influencing coaching decisions, media policies, or future signings?" Some insiders speculated this could spark a long-term change, a player empowerment era, similar to what the NBA experienced when stars started shaping franchises from the inside. The difference? It's happening faster in the WNBA. Clark's fame is expanding at a rate the league's infrastructure wasn't built to handle. Every appearance sells out arenas. Every product with her name goes viral. So when she or her team speaks, even quietly, people listen. And that influence is both powerful and dangerous. The aftermath changed Indiana more than most fans realized. Behind the scenes, executives started walking carefully. Every roster discussion now carried an unspoken question. How will this play with Caitlin's team? No one said it out loud, but everyone felt it. Marketing departments double-checked public releases. Social media teams coordinated captions with Clark's PR advisors. Even sponsor announcements reportedly went through an approval rhythm to ensure brand alignment. It was subtle but total. Some called it efficiency. Others called it intimidation. Because when one player, No matter how talented becomes the brand itself, it's almost impossible for anyone around her to separate business from basketball. Even Steve Simon's tone in interviews shifted. Before, he spoke about building a competitive team. Now, it was about protecting the culture and direction Clark was creating. That's the level of sway she commands, and it's not fading anytime soon. So, what was this really about? Loyalty or leverage? Maybe both. Caitlin Clark has always been fiercely loyal. From Iowa to Indiana, she's carried her circle with her. Teammates, friends, coaches, supporters. She values chemistry. She values trust. On the surface, it looks like a friend protecting another friend. But when that friendship overlaps with multi-million-dollar brand influence, loyalty becomes leverage. Lexi Hull might not realize it, but her value skyrocketed the moment Clark's circle stepped in. And the Fever learned a lesson they won't forget. If a move doesn't fit the Caitlin Clark narrative, it won't happen. That's not arrogance. It's earned power bought by popularity, performance, and profit. It's the kind of influence that can elevate a franchise or fracture it if mishandled. The WNBA is changing fast. For decades, teams controlled players. Now, the biggest stars are starting to flip the script. Caitlin Clark's situation with Lexi Hull may be the first clear example of that shift. A superstar dictating not just how her team plays, but who stays and who goes. And the remarkable part? It's not happening through public demands or dramatic quotes. It's happening quietly, through calls, meetings, and brand negotiations behind the scenes. That's the modern game, soft power. Whether fans love it or hate it, Caitlin Clark is mastering it faster than anyone before her. The Fever front office knows it, her teammates know it, and now the entire league knows it too. At the end of the day, this story isn't just about Lexi Hull staying put. It's about what her staying represents: loyalty, influence, control. Three things that rarely coexist peacefully in professional sports. Some say Caitlin did what any good teammate would: protect her friend. Others believe her camp flexed its power to shape a roster in her favor. But both sides agree on one truth. Nothing happens inside Indiana's organization anymore without Caitlin Clark's inner circle knowing first. And that, right there, is the mark of a generational star. Was this move fair? Maybe not. Was it strategic? Absolutely. And it might be the reason the Fever's locker room looks very different next season, on and off the court. Because when one player holds the keys to the franchise, everyone else has to knock before entering. Drop the I. If you think Caitlin's loyalty saved her teammate, or comment power move if you believe this was all part of a much bigger plan. Either way, the message is clear. In Indiana, loyalty isn't just a virtue, it's leverage. And Caitlin Clark just proved she knows exactly how to use it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because trust me, this saga between Caitlin the Fever and her growing empire is far from over.